I sit in my dorm, a soft rain tapping against the old brick of DePaul University, Chicago, and I can almost hear the echo of my own disappointment reverberating through the empty hallways. I arrived here with a gleam in my eye, convinced that the name alone would shield me from any worry, that my family's wealth and my privileged background would guarantee a smooth passage through these hallowed corridors. Yet every day since I stepped onto this campus has been a lesson in how quickly prestige can crumble into dust. First, there is the tuition hold. I have already paid more than $100,000 in tuition, a sum that could buy a modest house in many towns, yet the university clings to a petty $2,000 shortfall like a child refusing to share its candy. Because of that hold, I cannot register for my final classes, I cannot access the library, I cannot even attend the graduation rehearsal. The administration tells me that a hold is a hold, that policies are policies, that my money means nothing beyond the numbers on a spreadsheet. This is bad because it traps me in a loop of anxiety. I cannot finish my degree, I cannot graduate, I cannot move on, and the financial strain grows heavier with each unanswered email. The root of this problem is a heartless bureaucracy that values cash flow over a student's future, and it erodes trust in the whole institution. Then there is the financial aid nightmare. I spend hours on hold with the aid office, only to be transferred to a voicemail that promises a response that never arrives. When I finally speak to a representative, they claim I am missing documents that they never specified, so I am left guessing, sending more paperwork into the abyss. This endless waiting steals my time, my peace, and my confidence. It is a classic case of understaffing and poor communication. The university wants to appear helpful while providing no real assistance, and the resulting frustration drives students to the brink of despair. The academic experience itself is a tapestry of broken promises. My husband, a senior transfer student in the College of Computing and Digital Media, discovers that most of his professors deliver lectures that are shorter than a TikTok video, often under 10 minutes, and then disappear into the ether. Such truncated lessons leave us with shallow knowledge, akin to sipping a single drop of broth and expecting to be satisfied. This is problematic because learning requires depth, context, and repeated exposure. When classes are reduced to flashcards, the student's mind is left undernourished, and the value of the degree diminishes. The underlying cause is a faculty culture that seems more interested in pushing papers than nurturing minds, a symptom of overworked teachers, and a university that rewards quantity over quality. The tutoring and advising offices are no better. I watch my husband book a tutor for a programming language, only to be assigned someone who has never written a line of code. He spends hours trying to understand explanations that are as vague as a foggy morning, and then returns to his coursework with even less confidence. The advising staff, thin on personnel and thick on indifference, hand out degree maps that are riddled with errors, send us on wild goose chases through outdated portals, and then shrug when we ask for help. This negligence means students waste precious semesters on courses that do not count toward their majors, inflating tuition costs and delaying graduation. The cause is chronic understaffing and a lack of accountability. No one is monitoring the quality of tutoring or the accuracy of advising, so mediocrity thrives. Technology, that promise of modern learning, turns into a cruel joke. In a required app development class, my husband needs a MacBook, yet the loaner program hands him a Windows 10 laptop, completely unusable for the assignments. He sends polite emails, receives contradictory replies, and finally is left with a
device that cannot compile the code he must submit. This mismatch wastes weeks of work, forces him to seek expensive alternatives, and adds to the already soaring cost of attendance. The problem stems from poor inventory management and a lack of clear communication between departments, creating a cascade of frustration that ripples through the student body. The campus climate feels like a cage. When activists silenced Milo Yiannopoulos and later barred Ben Shapiro, the university claimed to protect students, but in doing so, it stifled open discourse. This suppression of unpopular ideas breeds a culture of fear, where students—
It's kind of ironic, isn't it? DePaul University, Chicago, this place of learning, of growth, but it's also like a playground for scammers, It's like they were running their own kind of education program, teaching people about the harsh realities of trust. So there's this thing that's been happening around DePaul where these people come up to you in parking lots, all sad and stuff, talking about kids' funerals. They show you these pictures and your heart just goes out to them. You want to help, right? I mean, who wouldn't he? But it's a trap. They insist on using your card with this tap-to-pay thing, and before you know it, instead of giving a small donation, you've just funded their next vacation. Poor Kelly, she thought she was giving 25, but she ended up giving 2,500. Can you imagine? She must have felt so betrayed, you know, and the scammers, they were probably living it up, thinking they were so clever. But karma is a funny thing. I bet they'll get theirs someday. And then there's this other scam at Target, not far from DePaul. These people approach you, all friendly like, and the next thing you know, you ray out 4,500 and your partner is in the hospital. It's insane. I can help but think about the victims, the fear and confusion they must have felt. And the medical bills on top of the financial loss, it's just too much. I hope they found some comfort, some justice. As for the scammers, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes when the law catches up to them. It's like every corner you turn near DePaul, there's someone waiting to take advantage of your kindness. It's sad, really. It makes you question humanity, you know, but then you hear about these stories where people fight back, where they don't let the scammers win, and it gives you a glimmer of hope. It's like a moral win, a tiny victory for the good guys. So what can we do? We've got to be smart, be aware. We can let these scammers dampen our spirits. We have to look out for each other, especially when we ray in a place that's supposed to be about building a better future, like around DePaul University, Chicago. Let us not let the scammers win. Let us keep our heads high and our wallets safe. And maybe, just maybe, we can make the streets around DePaul a little safer for everyone.
The businesses around DePaul University, Chicago, feel like they were all built on the same Monday morning after a 3-day weekend. Half the lights are off. The staff are still asleep, and someone forgot to order the good napkins. If you picture a row of shiny toy cash registers with the keys glued down, you are already in the right mood. I walked this grid for you, block by block, and every door I opened sighed the same small sigh. We would rather be closed, but since you are here, please overpay for disappointment. Let me start with the malls, because malls are supposed to be the easy win. Water Tower Place is the closest thing to a cathedral that this neighborhood has, except the saints are empty storefronts, and the holy water costs $28 an hour to park on top of. The escalators only run downhill, metaphorically speaking right up, and you will find whole floors where the only sound is your own footsteps echoing back like a slow clap for bad planning. Lego Store still stands, bright and plastic, like a single jelly bean left in an overturned jar. People used to bring their kids here for the food court. Now they bring them for the lesson that nothing gold can stay, not even Panda Express. Security guards treat crying toddlers like fire hazards and grown-ups like possible shoplifters of joy. I saw a father argue that his son was, in fact, a human child. The guard's face said, "Policy is policy. Small humans still count." They left, strollers squeaking in defeat, and the mall kept its echo. Spas near campus promise to knead your stress away, but they add new knots made of fine print. Aliu Spa smells like eucalyptus and guilt. You book 90 minutes, they give you 50, and call it table-to-shower efficiency. Ask for deep tissue, and they pet you like a nervous cat. Ask for gentle, and they stretch you like gym class. The receptionist will smile, swipe your card twice, and remind you that tipping is not optional. It is silently mandatory, like gravity. One masseuse apparently celebrated a good session by looking up guests on Instagram later. That night, nothing says relaxation like discovering your shoulder knots now have your LinkedIn. They will charge you a blizzard fee for rescheduling during an actual blizzard, which is a level of optimism I did not know existed. The weather is the customer's fault. Food, the most human comfort, turns into a desert buffet. Sultan's Market waves the Mediterranean flag, then serves lamb that died of thirst twice, once on the farm, again under the heat lamp. The rice is so dry it audibly clicks against the plate, like Morse code for help. $25 buys you a mixed plate where every protein is dressed in the same beige overcoat. The cashier practices invisible mime. You stand at the register. He stares through you, continues chatting with the grill man about yesterday's game. When you finally bite into the shawarma, you understand the sheep's last thought was probably, "Even I deserved better." If you hope sugar will save the day, Stan's Donuts has already sold out of donuts. At 4 in the afternoon, while the neon, hot sign still blinks like it is winking at a joke you are not in on. The lone employee moves in slow motion, one glaze-covered hand raised in perpetual farewell. Order coffee and you will receive a cup filled with liquid cotton candy. Chew it. Don't drink it. Someone's birthday surprise got canceled because the staff claimed the donuts were out of stock. Yet the display case looked like a kindergarten window, colorful, plentiful, and completely unreachable behind plexiglass. The tip jar wears a tiny crown, as if to remind you that even disappointment deserves monarchy prices. Nightlife. The Vic Theater seats you on the same white plastic lawn chairs your uncle keeps in his garage. Shoulder-to-shoulder geometry means you can smell the aftershave of strangers and count the stitches on the back of their heads instead of watching the stage.
The floor slopes the wrong way, so the band performs somewhere near your knees. Tall people become involuntary eclipse makers. Bartenders occasionally add extra zeros to tabs like they are writing horror fan fiction. One patron discovered a $200 beer, tried to dispute it, and was told the transaction never happened, which is a magic trick most of us can only dream of. If you need the restroom, plan a pilgrimage 4 flights down, past pipes that drip with the sweat of concerts past. By the time you hike back, the encore is over and your chair has been annexed by someone's backpack.